morning. I'm going to be talking about some things, and if I get close to this camera, it's because I have a mirror, a big magnifying mirror behind me that I have to look at, so don't think I'm just being weird and coming real close, but I might do that because I can't see. But I'm going to talk this morning, as I'm getting ready, about some things, a lot of things that are going on in my brain, things that are going on around us, things that I've been seeing and hearing. And I posted a video this morning on my Facebook page of a video that I had seen concerning hashtag BLM. And before I continue, I'm going to say this before I say anything else, because the leftist opinion seems to be that if you don't agree and follow their mantra, doctrine, whatever you want to call it, then you have to be a racist. Because they can't seem to separate one issue from another. Like, for instance, if I disagree with all the looting and the destruction of people's property, then that means I must have agreed with George Floyd's murder. That's not the case. And what I'm going to talk about is the way hashtag BLM is going around making people feel like that because they're white, they have to bow their knee and apologize for the white privilege that they have, quote unquote, white privilege. And the sad thing, the scary thing is, people are doing it. A video that I posted, and y'all can go look at it if you like, on my page. If I didn't hear that, if I had just been watching it with no sound, I would think, finally, people are on their knees praying to God to get an answer for all this mess. But when you listen to it, it is people chanting a mantra, like a repeat after me, of I will not do XYZ, meaning, to me, meaning if they're saying they're not going to do it, that means they must have been doing it before. And when I first seen it and heard it, it reminded me instantly of the prophets of Baal, and how Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego would not bow to the idols of Baal. All the other people had been bowing because that's what they'd probably been made feel like they had to do, or they were going to die. I mean, they said they were going to be thrown in the fiery furnace. If you don't bow to these idols, you're gonna die. So guess what? They did, except for the three. They didn't, because they said, we're not going to bow to your idol. Throw us in the fire, and my God can deliver. But even if he don't, we're not going to bow to your idol anyway. And whether you believe me and you want to make me, there's going to people call me racist because I don't agree with this. You know what? You can think what you want about me, because that's the lie. That's the lie. The devil's a lie. Because I can disagree with racism and not bow to your idol. And that is the lie that these people are being led to believe. And it just scares me to think, wow, look how easily people would bow their knee. They're like the sheep being led to the slaughter, the blind leading the blind, and it's all being done under the preface of racism and conforming. And if you don't, then you must be a prejudiced racist. No. Nope. I am so dumbfounded by what I seen. And there was another video where a perfect stranger went up to a middle-aged white woman, probably about my age, and had a camera rolling, obviously, and says to her, they needed to find, and they named the group BLM, they needed to find a black woman to get on her knee and apologize for her white privilege. And she did it. And I hate to say what it's probably going to boil down to. I'm not going to say what it's going to boil down to, but it's not going to be good. Not going to be good. I'm going to put my makeup on while I'm doing this, because it's going to come down to, if you're approaching a perfect stranger like that and telling them to do that, it's so scary how gullible people are. That woman, she did it. She got down on her knee and made herself vulnerable in front of a person she doesn't even know and never met, in front of a camera. Who knows? Who's to say what his intentions really were in any kind of case like that? He could have had her down on her knee and did anything to her. He could have kicked her in the face. He could have shot her in the head. He could have slashed her throat. Anything. And she did it. Oh. It's just, this is just stuff you read about, like stuff you maybe read about or I mean, I had never even thought about it. This is something I've never even thought about, but this is almost like, am I in the Twilight Zone? Am I living in the Twilight Zone? Is this real? Are people really this naive and stupid? Apparently so. I'm watching it. Unless they've hired 1,000 people to get on their knees and do this all for show. But really, I mean, either way, they're still showing their stupidity. Y'all, if you are anything of a Christian, this ought to be really bothersome to you. Like, this should bring fear, not for, let me rephrase that. This should make you afraid of what the position of our country is right now. I'm not afraid of anything as far as my soul. That's no. But it's scary to think that this is the way the country is headed. And for people that have kids and grandkids and what they're going to be growing up in if this continues. And I can't even imagine. And if this goes the way they want it to go, we are going to be in big trouble. I just had to talk about this for a while this morning. I just can't get over how gullible people are. And it speaks of it in the Bible. It's not like we should be surprised. It really isn't. I mean, it's not a surprise. But then again, I'm just like, wow, really? You people are going to bow your knee and raise your hands and chant a mantra over something that you Apparently you feel guilty over it, or you're just being made to do that because you're afraid to not do it. You're afraid to be the only ones not doing it because you know what backlash you are going to receive if you don't do it. Because automatically that's going to make you a racist if you don't bow to them. That's the ignorance of the narrative these days. Because you can't separate the two. Like I said, if you agree with one, then you're not allowed to agree with the other, and vice versa. And you're labeled. You label me all you want. I know what I am. I know who I am. People need to wake up. God's wrapping this thing up, guys. And I know that's, people think I'm crazy, and they can think that. I don't, you can think what you want, that's fine. But I believe that I'm not a prophet. I'm not one of these Bible scholars. I don't know how to translate certain prophetic scriptures and things like that, but I do know that it's, the Bible says that our days have been shortened for the elect's sake. And that means God has, if you talk to anybody, the days just fly, the months just fly. And that's scripture, because it says that God would shorten the days for the elect's sake, because if he didn't, we wouldn't be able to stand it. Meaning the things that are going on around us, our faith would be so tiresome, and we would become so weary that we wouldn't be able to stand being in it. So he is shortening the days. And I prayed last night. I know that God can't make these things. I know he can't change people's hearts. People are going to do what they're going to do. They've hardened their hearts, and they're not going to hear what needs to be heard. They're going to do what they want. But I prayed that God would make a way of escape for us, because, and I know that's going to happen, and it's not going to be long. And that's when he takes us out of here. He's going to take the church out. I shouldn't say church, I'm going to say people, his people. He's going to take his people out of here. Because we can use the term church loosely. We think it's a building. We think it's a people, a group of people that gather in a building every Sunday and every Wednesday night. And that makes us Christians. And there's going to be a lot of them that are deceived as well. But he's fixing to take his people out. And I think a lot of people are going to be surprised when it happens. Not only by when it happens, but who is going, who's been taken, who's going to go. And there's going to be some left behind standing that's going to be, but God, didn't I do this in your name? Didn't I? And he's going to say, I never knew you. But God, I spent 20 years going to church every week. I paid my tithes. I volunteered my time. And you're going to sit there and be justified, or try to be justified by all your works. And what's so beautiful about what he's shown me in the last several months, it's not about any of that. It's not about any of that. It's not that I can do. I can't be good enough. I can't add one thing to what he's already done for me. But that's what's sad, is we've been made to believe that we've got to do more. We've got to be this, and we've got to do that. We've got to earn our rite of passage into his kingdom. No, we don't. But the devil has liked to lie. He likes to lie. He's lulled us to sleep. Complacency has taken over. He gets the one sitting right in that pew. He doesn't have to take you out into the bar. He doesn't take you out, get you to sin, what you call sin. He can just get you lazy and complacent. He can make church and living for God a duty and a game and a job. Something you check off of your checklist daily, just to relieve your guilt for a little while. I know, I did it. I did it for a long time, because that's what religion does to you. Makes you think you have to do specific things to earn your right into heaven. And that will make you crazy. It will make you crazy. I know. Because you know what? You continually feel like you can never be good enough. You feel like you're constantly living in a state of guilt because you're never measure up. That's all you gotta feel. Defeated. Defeatism is all you gotta feel to be left behind, and to feel like, because if you feel like you're never gonna make it and measure up, devil's already got you. If you make it about what you got to do to be saved, and all you've got to do in your physical body and in your daily walk to be saved, and you make it about all these other things, well, the devil's already got you. He's got you sidetracked enough to where he knows he's already got you, because you've already made God a job. You've already made him a duty. And when you don't do your stuff that you're supposed to do, then you feel guilty. But then you think, you know what? It's okay, because God understands. We're busy with our lives, especially when we had kids in the house. You know, we had things going on, and we're tired. So when we don't get it done, it's okay. God understands, and he does. But his mercy and his grace is only for so long. And that's where the deception comes in, because the people that make it about form and fashion are going to just fall away. They're going to be left behind because their hearts are lukewarm. I'm sorry. I'm just in a mindset this morning that I'm troubled, perplexed, but at the same time, the more I see, the more I know that it's not going to be much longer. And used to, that terrified me. Used to terrify me to think that God would be coming back at a moment when I was in that other mindset that I just spoke of. Because my mind is like, if there could be, there's never a day that I got it completely right. And so there was never a surety of my salvation in any given moment. Like maybe if I got it all right one day, like if I could get my prayer time in, and I could read my Bible, and I went to church, and I did all that I thought I should do, paid my tithe, all that, then if he comes back right now, maybe I'll get in. Maybe I'll make it. But there was a lot of times I wasn't sure of that. Most of the time I wasn't sure of that. And to stand as a Christian and not feel sure of your salvation, that means you don't believe. It's like you don't believe what God said. You made him out to be a liar. I'm so glad I know who he is. I'm glad I know where my hope lies. I'm glad I know where my surety is. I know who my Redeemer is. And I've never been so sure of my salvation in my whole life. And that's why when I see these things, they trouble me in my spirit. And God shows me exactly how, because it says in the days of Noah, and all these things are happening. Their gods are different. The ones they are bowing to are different, but they are still idols. Wake up, people, wake up. Because like I said, I'm not a scholar of the Bible. I'm not any of that, but I do know what I feel. I do know what I feel. And honest to God, I go back in my prayer time. I can go outside in my backyard if it's nice, and I walk the yard and I pray. In the back of my yard faces to the east. And many times, there's been many days, I'll stand facing that eastern sky. I'll look up towards heaven with my hands raised to my God, to my God, to my God. And I'll just look and say, you know, one day that eastern sky is going to, there's going to be a sound from heaven. There's going to be a trumpet. There's going to be flashes of lightning and rolls of thunder. Oh, God. He's going to come back, guys. He's coming back. It ain't going to be long. He's coming back in the skies. He's going to part those skies wide open. In the same manner that we seen him ascend is the same as we're going to see him come back in the clouds. And the Bible says it's going to be in the twinkling of an eye, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, which means as quick as you can blink. Seen that blink? That quick. That quick. He's not going to tarry. He's not going to linger. It's going to be that quick. And to those who are left behind, they're going to be left behind here just baffled, dumbfounded. The ones who have little kids, who watch them little kids just vanish before their eyes, they're going to be, well, it says, woe to those who give suck in those days, which means those who have infants who are still infants, meaning those who are still nursing those babies. Those babies are going to disappear right out of their arms. And they're going to be left standing there, wondering. Well, most of them are not going to probably be wondering, because most have heard about it happening, and they've laughed about it. They've laughed about it. They've called it a lie. They've called it a farce. They've said it's something we've heard about forever, and it ain't happened yet. But guess what? Each day we get a little bit closer. And I look back and I tell the Lord every time I look to that eastern sky, I said, come on, Lord. Come quickly. I'm ready. I'm ready. I don't want to be in this old world no more. I don't want to be in this old world no more. And I'm not getting emotional because I'm sad. I'm getting emotional because I feel this. And I want everybody that can be saved to be saved. I want everybody that will listen to heed to the call. I want everybody to get right while they can. You don't want to be left behind. Because what's happening once the Spirit of God leaves this world, because those who are on this earth right now, who are filled with His Spirit, are the only ones keeping this thing together. Once He lifts His Spirit out of this earth, it's going to be nothing but, well, I think it's going to be like World War III. I think we're seeing just a little bit of the destruction of what's going to be left behind. But once that Spirit leaves, it's going to be total pandemonium. People are going to just be into utter chaos. And what these videos this morning showed me was they're going to be quick to bow to any and every idol that they have to bow to. I'm just ready for God to take me out of here. I want my family to be ready. I want my kids to be ready. I want my husband and my mom, everybody that I know and love. I want everybody to go. Because I don't want anybody that I have any ties or closeness to have to be here when all this falls apart. Y'all better heed the call. You better heed the warning. You don't think we're close to the end. You're sadly mistaken. You're deceived. I'm gonna eat my breakfast and finish getting ready. We all need to wake up. Get right if you ain't right. Love y'all.